So I want to talk about scaling.
Yes.
You've obviously written several books on this topic, but for those listening, that or whatever stage of revenue they're in today, what in your experience have you found separates companies from 6 figures to 7 figures, 8 figures, 9 figures in revenue? Just overall, if you were to look at those organizations and say, this is what makes them different at each milestone.
Yeah. I think it's first a mindset that you want to get that big. It's that big, hairy, audacious goal. I remember when Naomi Simpson in Red Balloon, she came to my workshop in 2005 in Australia. She'd only sold about 7,500 experiences. And the first thing we had her do was say, all right, but where do you want to be in the next decade? And she's like, man, if I could get to 10% of all the Australians, which would be 2 million, that's a 30x. By the way, she thought it was going to be impossible. First thing she did was put a scoreboard up, and that's what I love about your facility here, Michael, is you've got scoreboards up everywhere. Everybody knows their KPIs. Everybody knows the score. And she beat that 2 million by 2 years. And what was interesting is she almost lost the company after that. What happened is incrementalism set in. Oh, well, let's look at what we're going to do next year, and then the next year. And honestly, that bores you to tears. So she has set another 30x. That's going to take her from 100 million to 3 billion in revenue. So I think first is setting that kind of aggressive goal. And aggressive, ambitious goals actually drive energy. The research was done at Harvard that attainable goals is low energy, ridiculous goals are low energy, but setting an ambitious goal, and your job is to be the chief energy officer, that's the first thing to do. I think the second is obviously going after a big addressable market. And then I think third is that you're willing to continue to learn. The biggest constraint is between our ears. Leaders are learners, leaders are readers. You watch Bill Gates, a book every week, his Think Weeks, his record 112 books, manuscripts, PhD thesis, white papers. Mark Zuckerberg, a book every 2 weeks. Mark Cuban, I didn't know Michael. I've known him since his days in IT services in Dallas. But when he wrote his book, he shared that he reads, still today, 3 hours a day, looking for just one idea, not 100, one idea that can help one of the 150 plus companies he supported. So the only constraint is, again, our mindset and what we don't know. And so that's the second reason I founded EO, was to be a place where we continue to share and learn together.
Yeah. What about on the converse? Like what's been like a counterintuitive insight that most leaders resist, but you found is absolutely necessary when it comes to scaling?
Timing. The market makes you look smart or the market makes you look dumb. And I often kid with entrepreneurs. Do you have a friend, that is dumber than you, that's doing better than you? I say it kind of jokingly, but it's like, man, IDEO studied this. The company's launched 100 companies and supported another, and they wanted to understand, was it people, strategy, execution, or cash, the same framework we use, that was most critical to those that succeeded or not? And you love when the data comes back different than what you expected. First, they found all 4 mattered equally. It's not one over the other. But then the second thing is that there's a fifth. I missed it. I end up go edit my books, and that is market timing. They had created what should have been YouTube, but it was too early.
Yeah.
We didn't have the devices to do the quick videos. We didn't have the bandwidth, all of that was required. YouTube hit it right. So you either have to hang on long enough till bell-bottom jeans come back into fashion, or if you miss the wave, get on the next one.
What's a good way to know or just get feedback from the market if your timing is right or wrong? I mean, obviously, revenue and profit is a big driver of that, but is there anything else that you can look at as an indicator of, is our timing right?
Well, we just saw this weekend, Warren Buffett at 94, you and I were talking about that before the interviews, decided to finally step down. I don't even like to use the word finally, but stepping down at the end of the year. And here's a guy that's beat the market by a factor of 10 for the last 60 plus years. He's killing it right now, and also sitting on $300 billion worth of cash, maybe waiting out for the next arbitrage opportunity. And what's the key? He reads 500 pages of news every day. He's reading the headlines from all over the world. And because of that, he saw what was getting hot, which is Japan. And he surprised all of us last year when he announced, I've gone all in the top 5 trading companies in Japan. And Tanya Lanthier, who you and I both know, just came back from that gathering in Omaha and said the place was filled with people from Japan. And so he saw it. And it's because of, again, he's reading the headlines. He's reading the tea leaves. The other way to do it is to really immerse yourself in the marketplace. You know, Brian Chesky, co-founder and CEO of Airbnb, just could not, coming out of the pandemic, figure out what's wrong with his company. It should be doing better. And you saw what he did. He's like, all right, I'm going to go work out of and live in my Airbnbs for 6 months, traveling around to see if I can find it. And he did. So you're not going to figure it out sitting in your office. You're going to have to get yourself immersed out in the marketplace with your customers, your employees, and the broader community.